It's time for the LowcoSports Lowdown. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Max Arad.
Hey, almost got it. Justin Jarrett, Max Araj, and Kevin Libby pulling a Cato while Wes makes his way back from catching the games at the Nest, where we had a big comeback win for Hilton Head. We are watching the final seconds here on Bupert's Own of Whale Branch and Bridges Prep. Whale Branch was way up early, boys, like 17, 18 points. Bridges Prep came all the way back, took the lead, and then Ivan Gray got hit with back-to-back techs. Bam, bam. Sent him to the showers.
Wow.
Magic words must have been said. That's all. That's all you can surmise from that. And it's been back and forth ever since. Bridges just had 2 free throws to tie, missed the first, made the second, intentionally fouled. They miss them both. So now Bridges is going to get a shot at a miracle here. It's been a crazy game, back and forth. How are you boys doing?
Doing great. Great day. Good, Buford Parks and Rec. Really happy to have youth basketball back at Burton Wells and
back in the gym.
Lynn Brown in Buford, and obviously great first night back for the high school sports scene as well. Really, we had a couple basketball games for prep in Charleston Collegiate last night, and then some big time wrestling last night over at the Shark Tank in May River. But this is the first full night of basketball we have had since almost 2 weeks ago. Coming up this Saturday. So really happy to get back on the scene of sports and being able to cover all of the games we've had, and looks like we've had some good games tonight, including the one we're watching between Whale Branch and Bridges Prep, as well as the great matchup at the Nest that, of course, Wes got to witness between Bishop England and Hilton Head High School. So really great to have these games back. Oceanside at Battery Creek tonight. Bluffton, man, I'm looking at this. Bluffton with a huge win in boys basketball over Buford. Buford continues to struggle, which has been a growing issue for them. But the women's team for Buford also got the win over Bluffton tonight.
Did.
Yeah, I'm happy that basketball is back in session. Really great to have all of this back, and we get to be back on a somewhat normal schedule.
Yeah, it's going to be a frantic schedule. It's going to be busy for the next couple of weeks, which is cool by me. I dig it. I like it when there's stuff going on. That's more fun than having to come up with stuff to talk about. I'd prefer to talk about what's happening. So we've got another timeout here, it appears. We've got Davion Varner from Colleton County going to join us a little bit later when he gets where he's going. Colleton County boys with the shocker of the night, taking down previously unbeaten May River and Region 6-4A 40-38. Amari Sanders returned. He had been out, and he got back tonight, made a 3 right after coming into the game, and helped them get the dub. So Kinlock was trying to help us coordinate this, but I already got Davion's number. Whale Branch survives.
Wow. Down goes Bridges. That's tough.
Somebody hurt. Yeah. Somebody's limping. Man, they made a couple of threes. I got a couple of things that we got to go back and look at from this game a little bit later on.
Why was the ball put into the baseline?
Well, they had called timeout after the. Yeah, why was the ball put in from the baseline?
It's a weird way to end the game. I think that's what they were talking.
That is a weird way to end the game.
Wild. Barn burner.
A Donnybrook, if you will.
I think Bridges just realized that they're going to need to play better basketball in the region, because not only has Whale Branch got a good boys team, but so does Hampton County too. So they're going to need fight their way through the region this year, and I think that game kind of shows it. But that is a great game too. I mean, Bridges Prep was down big time at the half, and for them to come back and actually make this a great ball game is really good to see out of Bridges. But they need to get ahead early because I think if you get behind as big as they did, it becomes difficult, especially in the region that they play in, to come back from a deficit like that. But hats off to Bridges tonight, but a great win for Whale Branch, and I look forward to seeing those two teams as they continue their road towards potentially making the playoffs this year. So, yeah, that was a great game. Wow, really exciting.
It was a good one. The girls was not as good. The girls was a little lopsided. Whale Branch 47-24 in that one. We have scores scrolling across the bottom. Before we go through the scores, show tonight presented by Mickelson Law Firm, our original sponsor, our all-star sponsor. They've been with us since 2017 when this dream began to become a reality. They've supported us every step of the way. We appreciate them and hope that you'll call on them if you have legal needs. They're right in downtown Bluffton, but they serve the whole Lowco, and they are our official real estate closing attorney and presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. But they love all the Lowco like we do, and they are great at all the law stuff, not just the real estate. So check out Mickelson Law Firm. Good folks doing good stuff for the local sports community. Scores tonight thus far, and before I do that, Wes should be joining us. Marcus Walsh has joined us as we speak in the flesh. He's coming in hot from Beaufort, where the Eagles took on Bluffton. Couple of pretty comfortable wins. Beaufort pulled away late against the Bluffton girls to win 48-30. Bluffton boys blew out Beaufort 83-35. I was just going to run down some scores, Marcus, and then we'll let you dig into what happened over in the nest. Oceanside Collegiate 69-28 over Battery Creek. This on the girls' side. May River 50-19 over Colleton County. Bishop England escapes with a 35-31 win over Hilton Head. That was a good one. Wes was there. He'll tell us more about it later. Mentioned the Beaufort over Bluffton 48-30 and Whale Branch over Bridges Prep 47-24. Hampton County keeps rolling. They blow out Edisto 60-12. Hardyville girls forfeited to Denmark tonight. We had some injuries and some illness and didn't have enough bodies. So is what it is. 1A basketball, baby, in the winter. Trinity College 64, JP2 56. That was a decent game. Trinity was kind of in command throughout, but JP2 kept it competitive. Haven't seen a cross score yet. Colleton Prep, Belenda's Revenge Part 2, 40-38 over Patrick Henry. And then haven't seen Hilton Christian girls score yet, or boys for that matter. Over on the boys' side, looking for the Battery Creek final. Bluffton blew out Beaufort. Colleton County over May River. Hilton Head beats Bishop England 48-43. Had to come back to do it. We just saw the final of Whale Branch Bridges Prep. Was it 66-65, boys? Whale Branch over
that seems right.
Bridges Prep. Hampton Edisto, haven't seen a final, but Hampton was up double digits in the second half. Still looking for Ridgeland finals. Denmark over Hardyville 70-44. Trinity Collegiate over JP2 54-49. That was a 1-point game in the last minute. Patrick Henry over Colleton Prep 76-60. And we're still missing a few. You can see at the bottom what we're missing. That's the hoops. On the wrestling front, May River did have one more duel tonight to officially clinch it. They beat Bluffton 71-11. Sharks won their 7th consecutive region title. Looking out for results from Bridges and Whale at the Region 5 2A duels, but haven't seen them yet. So what do you think, boys? Well, let's start with Marcus. You saw 2 of the games in person, so tell us about the Eagles versus the Bobcats.
I tell you what, I'll start off with the girls. I knew that their record was not indicative of how good they were and how good they are. They've really impressed me. You do not get bored when you watch Delia Laborde. I mean, that girl had she had herself quite a game. Couple of huge 3-pointers.
She's an 8th grader, dude.
Everywhere. And she's 8th grader.
8th grader.
Absolutely incredible. Janiah
Hayward doesn't even go there yet.
Right. It's nuts. Janiah Hayward with a really nice night. Um, a bunch of players, chipping in, especially late as the game was becoming more and more decided. Tell you somebody else for Buford that really caught my eye. A sophomore, number 55, Faith Owens. She's got a
Okay.
shot.
Okay.
I mean, she hit a couple of big threes in the game, particularly late, and she did really well. Obviously, Coaxum, been there, done that. She is phenomenal. It was just a really well played game, and I actually talked to Reggie afterwards when the guys' game was going on for a little while, and he said, we just played a full game and played together, and it was great to see. Amira Brown was solid as always. Tamara Bolden solid as always, both chipping in some big buckets. Jenna Robinson with a few big points. Emma Kate McMahon scored early, as did Autumn McCants. But the tenaciousness of the Beaufort defense is really what caught my eye early. They got out to the good solid lead 18-11 after one and really didn't look back. They just looked really sharp. And again, that record being under 500, don't sleep on the Beaufort girls because they're going
No,
to
they
be
played.
something to watch. And Kevin and I will see them not once, but twice. We've got them against May River on the 7th, and then we've got them against Hilton Head on the 11th. And I think, yes, I have that right. So we've got May River on the 7th, Hilton Head on the 11th. And I'm excited for both those games for obvious reasons. The Beaufort girls look really, really good.
Yeah, and for a while, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the sophomore and the or the eighth grader and the freshman are kind of leading them, and now you say there's a sophomore in the mix. Like that looks fun for a while. They're up to 15 now in the Max Preps RPI, which I pulled up mostly to note their strength of schedule is really strong. One of the better schedules, and I mean they played so many 5As and so many. Uh, they played three of the top 10 teams in 5A Division One in the first 3 games of their season, like the first 4 games of their season, something like that. It was crazy. So they bit off a lot this year, but those kids are legit. The youngsters are really good, and they can be good for a while. What's that?
And
Too legit to quit.
too
By
legit
the
to
way,
quit,
Nia
right?
Nia Hayward and Dalia Laborde, they've been showing up to the Ville on Sundays for
Yes.
1L training.
Great to see. And then on the guys' side, I tell you what, Bluffton is so good. I mean,
They're fun.
they just absolutely got after it. I'll talk about Beaufort first. They had some guys pitch in and get some big buckets up. Jamin Odom had a really nice night with multiple, bucket appearances. Kulik Isner played really well early, made some big impact plays, had a couple of big shots. Samari Bonds, of course, you talk about what an athlete he is. He made an
Yeah.
impact. Kobe Hernandez caught my eye, and he caught my eye early, wearing number 2, a sophomore, 5'9". Couple of big buckets for him, and then Austin Miles did the same. And a few guys, late in the game, they've got a guy, Jason Prayer, who did really
Mhm.
well early as well. Amani Klecki. It was early, points for them, but Bluffton is just so strong. We've talked about it all year, and when I've been scouting these games, particularly when I was at the Bluffton Classic at the end of December around Christmas, Bluffton is one of the strongest guys teams in this area, if not the strongest. We talk about that whenever we do our rankings, and I
Yeah,
mean,
which we're gonna need to
it's the
refresh
guys, and,
soon.
and we will soon. Jamari Stewart Manning was able to
Yeah.
put in some buckets, played tenacious on both sides of things. Harrison Skinner actually had his shot going early, not as much late in the game, unlike what I saw a couple of weeks ago against Colleton County. But McCarthy as well. But it starts with Max's favorite Bluffton guy, Brandon White, and Brandon again was
Skywalker.
doing Brandon White thinks. Skywalker, indeed. He was high
Walker,
flying
no,
and
that's no joke.
profiling for sure.
I do
And
love
then,
Brandon.
Carnell Warren as well was doing the same thing. I mean, those two guys, Isaiah Gadsden with some big buckets too. But I feel like that team runs through those two guys and what they can do with the explosiveness for sure.
Yeah.
But they are the guys that make that team run. I mean,
Yeah.
Harrison Skinner as well can do a lot of things, especially being the point guard and a true leader off the ball. But big plays and big things are going to happen when you've got Warren and certainly White there by your side, and they were just outstanding. And again, Buford was able to keep it relatively close at the end of one. It was 14-6. Then it was 42-18 at halftime. Bluffton just absolutely blitzed them
Opened it up.
in the
Yeah.
second quarter. And then from there on out, it was all Bluffton. And Buford had a little bit of a run late in the second half where they were able to get over the 30-point mark to get to 35. But 83-35, much of the same for Bluffton. And, we were talking with Jimmy Searson in the text chain that, I mean, this is a tough season for the Buford Eagles on the guy side. And, I mean, it is. It's it is tough, but they're
Yeah.
gonna fight. They're gonna compete. They're gonna do everything they can to stick in these ball games under Jeremy Huff. That's just the way they do things. But
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
couple of
It's not going
very
great over there right now.
Yeah. I think
very
we.
impressive
Yeah.
showings.
Yeah. Agreed. We've said before, like, one day Buford's going to get one of these teams. If they
I'm
do,
not
it
sure
better happen
anymore.
fast. It better happen fast, and
Yeah, I
sooner
don't think
rather than
so.
later.
I
I
think they
don't think it's
actually
going to
might get
happen.
skunked.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I will say I do have another score for you guys that we don't have just yet.
Oh yeah.
Hillman Christian Academy varsity boys team won big time tonight over Camden Military, 62-29.
Okay.
So
Alright.
great win to get back on
Get right
the
game.
And the
right side of
girls, again, the girls didn't play.
Oh,
They
they didn't. They
last
canceled that
played.
game with Savannah Country Day. I
As,
had
as
a
far
game.
as I know, the last time they played via Max Preps was Patrick Henry.
They're
Right.
supposed
So
to be playing
At
Savannah
one
Country
time
Day
or
tonight.
another, they had a game at Savannah Country Day scheduled tonight, but
That may have been
it
just
seems it's
canceled.
been wiped off the schedule. So
okay,
Yeah, I had a feeling because they didn't say anything on Christian Academy's Instagram page, which is where I got the score
yeah, and
from.
I
So,
checked
oh yeah.
I checked HHCA stuff too on their website and didn't say anything. That's why I
yeah, I
ended
think it
up
was wiped.
printing the updated
Well,
stats
I mean, it was
for
probably a good.
I'm
It was
working
probably a
off a
HHCA's
good.
girls
schedule that
for
I
Thursday because I
compiled
figured
weeks
Yeah.
ago. So things
But
have
yeah, that's
changed.
a good win for Bluffton.
right.
And the other thing that really shocked me tonight, but also doesn't shock me, is May River losing tonight. The boys team losing tonight.
Well, yeah. I mean, speaking of which, we've got one of the principals involved in that upset, if you want to call it that. Davion Varner is in the green room, and he joins us now from Colleton County. What's going on, Davion? Welcome
doing?
back to the show, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're not a first timer. We had you on before, so great to have you back. When I reached out to Coach Myers, your new AD, and said I need a spokesman from the basketball team, I didn't say who I wanted, but I had a feeling it might be Davion. He's the team
Yes, sir.
spokesman. So welcome, brother. Huge win for you guys tonight, 40-38 over May River, which had been unbeaten in region. The big story, Coach Myers hit me and said Amari just hit his first three. Coming in 10 seconds in. Mari Sanders had been out for a while. He was victim of a gunshot, and he's a big key for you guys. So what did it mean to have you guys back for you guys to have him back on the floor? Not just what he brings, in the game, but just having your guy back with you.
Seeing him back smiling and ready to play after all the adversity he faced, I feel like it put fighting everyone that come into this game really willing to fight for the man beside us. So seeing him like everybody, I feel like everybody was ready to play. From top to bottom, we just fought.
Take us
Yeah,
through it. I understand they had a chance to maybe tie it at the end with some free throws and didn't get the job done. And then who went to the line? Were you the man at the line to seal it?
Yes, sir.
That was you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So take me through that last sequence.
I believe we had a few late turnovers, which got the game close, and then I believe I think was it Gage. I believe he missed the free throw.
Yep.
So I was telling my teammates, I was like, hey, they gotta foul us. So try to put it in one of our good free throw shooter's hand. So when it got to me, I was just happy. I was like, yeah, I gotta seal it. This is my senior
Right.
year, so I gotta knock this down. You know what I'm saying? We want to push forward this year. So once I saw the balls in my hand and then they fouled me, I was just happy. You know what I'm saying? I was just happy. So got
Well,
to
you
the
left the
line and
door
then
open. You left the
yeah,
door
got to
open
the
for them to make a three. Were you nervous?
when okay, to be honest, when I saw it, when I saw that shot go up, I was just like, please no, because every time we get Carlton County get in that moment, oh man, it goes bad every time.
Not this time. Not this time. Who's
Yes sir,
got
yes sir.
questions for Davion?
yeah. That's a huge win. Obviously, the place you guys play is probably one of the best basketball
Oh,
gyms
so
in
good.
this region.
Right.
And I'm sure it was loud in there tonight. Getting
Yeah.
that win over May River. Because you guys have had some close games this season with some of your region opponents, but to get that win over them, give them their first loss on the year, show them that they can be beat. How did that feel when that final buzzer rang and you guys had won that game?
It feels great. It shows what our team can do. It shows that if we handle our job and we do what we got to do, we can fight, we can win. So seeing, like I said, looking up at the scoreboard and seeing that we were up, it just felt great. And I just told my guys, hey, don't get content. We still got a lot of work to do due to the fact that we got ourselves in a hole with a rough start, but it happens. So I told my guys enjoy the win, but we still got work to do. We got to come back to practice and prepare for
Yeah.
Buford because we can't sleep on Buford. We can't sleep on nobody in the region. All these games count. Every game matters.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much
Absolutely. I
all.
mean, you gotta beat Buford at this point. Like those
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
one thing you can't do is slip up and lose one to Buford.
Right.
But looking at the
Right.
stats here, you got a little shuffle here. Hilton Head moving ahead of Bishop England. Bluffton and May River effectively tied at the top. But I mean, we saw tonight. You guys were coming in fifth place and going up against a team that hadn't lost a region game. But you knew from the time that you played them down here in the deep end that I mean you had them beat. You were
Yeah.
up like 6 points late, and I
Right.
felt like you guys kind of got away from what got
Yeah.
you there and kind of
Yes,
started
sir.
trying to run clock and try to shorten the game a little bit too early
Right.
maybe, and that kind of let them get back in it. But how much did that give you confidence tonight that even though they're sitting at 4-0, you're like, yeah, but game one we had them on the ropes,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you had
Like
to
you
feel
say,
pretty good going into it.
yeah, like I say, I realized that like you said, we had that game when we went down there. A few mistakes late at the game was what caused that. So going
Hmm.
into the night, I was just telling my guys like, "Hey, we almost had that game last time, so let's go in with not the same intensity, but let's go higher." You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Let's limit the turnovers. Let's pass the ball. Let's get people open. Let's just share the ball and score, have fun, play defense. So I feel like we did that great tonight, and also having Mari back, you know,
Yeah.
I feel like that's what turned us up even more to it.
Yeah.
I can't words can't come out. I just feel like that's what turned us up more to play even harder.
Well, yeah, and it also makes, I mean, obviously he's an important piece. He's like a 6'4" who can score at all levels. Like those don't grow on trees, like you didn't have another guy like him sitting over on the bench to step in. You became a different team without him. And I thought you guys played really well through that, but you're definitely better with him. So that's awesome. This region is awesome, huh? This year. Like
Yeah,
it's super competitive. All the games have been fun.
right.
And
Where's your favorite place? Yeah, go ahead, Marcus.
talk about what it's like to be part of this region and just seeing your schedule, knowing that you're going to have competition every week, every game that you play, figuring you've got multiple games a week. Talk about what that's like too.
Oh, I feel like, I mean, it's great knowing that, like I said, we're gonna face competition every single game. So that makes our team not feel like we can come into any game like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we're gonna blow this team out. No, it makes us come into every game like, hey, we gotta fight from the beginning to the game to the end and realize that it's us five versus 8 other people, and that's the 5 on the other team and the 3 other refs. So I feel like therefore that.
Carlton versus everybody.
Yeah, college
Yeah.
versus everyone. So I feel like since we know that there's no cakewalking in our region, I feel like that helps us come into any game, every game with grit, with a chip on our shoulder, fight, eager, wanting to win.
Yep.
Hey,
Do you
Davion.
like playing on the road then? You like, since you guys like that kind of that chip on your shoulder mentality, or you like being at
Uh,
home?
I love being at home. I feel like I
Yeah.
play way better at home. Number, yes sir, yes
Get
sir.
in there, Libs.
Davion, that Mid River team, those guys are a bunch of seniors. I'm curious, how much do you scout those guys before a game, and how much of how much of a relationship do you have with these dudes in your region before you walk on the court?
So like I said, I pay attention to film. I gotta watch film, and playing these skins guys for so long, I kind of know what they do. I'm yelling at my teammates like, "Hey, he can shoot that. He can shoot that. I don't care if he's at the volleyball line. He can shoot that." Um, they're cool. It's one guy. You know, what I'm saying we go at it since last year at Tanner. No, it's no
Yeah.
hard feelings, but we go at it
Right.
every time. We mean
Yeah.
mugging each other, but it's bringing the best out of each other. I feel like we got
Iron sharpens
respect.
iron, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got
Right.
respect for each other. So I like that. And then every game I come to, they know me somehow. I don't know. I don't know. They know me. So
Because you've been on here, man. Now you got
hey.
it's the glasses, Bo. It's the glasses. You still
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Seems
yeah. So
like
they
things are
Dave
starting to
Razzie.
change a little bit. Sorry, JJ. It does seem
No,
like
go
things are
ahead.
starting to change a little bit too on the positive side with athletics at Colleton County, including certainly with your guys' team. Talk about the overall experience being part of the school and just enveloping athletics the way you all are.
We know that our history isn't all that good, so we know that people are gonna, when they see us, they think it's a cakewalk with us, or saying that they got a chance at beating us really strong. So we take that. I love that. Our backs against the wall, people turning on us. So it just makes us come in ready to prove everyone wrong. So we
Right.
got something to prove every time we come in that court. And based on our rough start and realizing that we were at number 5 where the region guys picked us to be at, I took that as disrespect, and I took that as, hey, I'm not proving them right. We not finishing where they thinking that we're going to be at. So we got to do something. You know what I'm saying? We got to fight. We got to be dogs from top to bottom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I've always said Colleton is a sleeping giant. I mean, there's very few counties in the state as big as that county that have one public high school. It's kind of a crazy situation that they've got. And if you could just get all the leadership on the same vision and get the right people in place, like the potential is real. And we've seen it with certain programs. Your softball program's been really good for years.
right.
The basketball programs have been solid at different times. The guys were really good, the girls were really good, not always at the same time, but so we've seen it. And I think Coach LaPresta is doing a great job with the wrestling program, and I think you just hired the right AD. I mean, Coach Myers is the man. He's got a vision, and he's going to bring it to reality there. I truly believe it. So um, I'm excited. I'm excited for the future at Carleton. And I hate that we're talking about the future in your senior year, because you've been one of the guys who's kind of carried the torch the last few years, and we've enjoyed, you being kind of a main character in our Colleton County coverage. You've been a great ambassador for that school and all the programs you represent, and we appreciate you. But Wes is jumping in. Wes, we got your guy Davion Varner on. You got any specific questions for
Yeah,
Davion?
Davion, I know I'm just coming on, so I may have missed a bit, but Just talk about as you wind down your career at Carleton County. Just reflect on the time you spent here and how you've helped build up that culture that's where that is now, both on the basketball court as well as on the baseball diamond.
You know, I can't really. Can you repeat that question one more time? One more time.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
it
reflect
broke
on
up.
your time playing both basketball and baseball for Carleton and how you've helped grow those programs.
Oh, I just taken since a younger kid, I've been trying to take on that leader role. So coming up to high school, seeing that the captain role was just placed in my hand. It wasn't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? I try to prepare myself since a little kid, and to it not in my senior year, it's showing that it worked out. So you know what I'm saying? Due to that is my last year, I'm just trying to leave a mark. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be forgetting when I leave. I want to leave a mark that they'll know that hey, Davion was a captain. Davion Varner was ready to come to practice to fight. Davion fought every game. Davion played every game like it was his last. So I want people when they hear my name, they know that Davion wasn't just an on court player, but he was an off the court player, and he also made sure he handled his books.
Yeah, man. I was gonna ask you about your plans for beyond this year because I know you're an excellent student. I know you also love the game, and I know that typically when you got the grades and you got the love of the game, there's an opportunity out there for you. Whether it's at the right school that matches your academics is always the question. But what are you looking at for next year? You trying to play something somewhere, or are you focusing on the brains at this point?
So if I don't get anything for sports wise, I plan on attending a trading school to pursue welding.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Nice.
Very good. But the
Yeah.
dream is still to try to play at the next level.
Right.
All right. Very good. Do you have is it baseball? Is it basketball? What are you chasing?
I'm putting it in God's hand. Putting
Yeah.
it in God's hand.
Fair
Growing
All
up,
enough.
I
right.
always wanted it to be baseball, but as you get older, adversity hits. Real life starts to kick in. So
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
taking in whatever I get, whatever God got for me. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna trust his route.
Right on, man. Well, we got your back. If you need a recommendation, I'll tell him, look, I don't know what he looks like compared to the kids you got on your roster, but I know that he's going to show up to work every day and bust his tail for you and make everybody
Yes, sir.
around him better, and that's all you can ask,
Thank
right?
you.
So, we appreciate you, man. Great talking with you tonight. Congrats on the big win, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you.
All
Thanks,
right, take
Davion.
care, Davion.
See you.
Davion Varner, Carleton County, great dude. Big fan. And joining us now, we got Misa Garzon. Misa,
Hey,
what's up, buddy?
What's
Where
going
you
on,
at?
guys?
He's
Did you get
I
locked up in
just got
Carleton
home.
County? Carleton
Yes,
County
just
locked
got
up?
home from Carleton County. They beat our boys tonight, so I had to take it easy. So, but no, I was listening to the interview with Davion, so he was a great leader tonight. A few times they let Mayweather claw back. They were up comfortably most of the game. By double digits. They were up by 11 going to the fourth quarter. Mayweather made a deep run, took the first lead at 34-33, and then they just kind of clamped down and held on. They were up comfortably, and then in the end, Mayweather went a little run to make it super close. But kudos to them. You guys made a good point with him with the last time they played us at the deep end. It was hard. Like they made us work, and
It was
third
there for the
quarter,
taking, and they kind of
yeah,
let
they were.
you sneak in
Third
and
quarter, they
steal it.
were dominant and they shut us down. So it's something about Colleton and our basketball team this year where they kind of have our number. And tonight, it's easy to say we were sluggish. You could tell we hadn't practiced in a while, and that snow apocalypse kind of hurt us. But you as a coach, you can easily take the cop out and say, oh, we were sluggish, but at the same time, the other team has to do their job and get enough points to win. And Carleton did that tonight. So kudos to them. They're going to be a tough team to play the rest of the region. I think we're glad we have to play them again. And then, we move on to Bishop England on Friday deep. And by the way, I know I've said this numerous times, but walking into that gym, it's a beautiful thing.
It is unbelievable.
I don't know if they have a nickname for it. I know we can't call it the Palace because Battery Creek has a Palace, but we got to come up with a nickname for their place because it's
Right, because
too majestic.
what about the castle?
That's fine.
I was thinking like the
Castle,
castle or the
That's
mansion.
epic right there. Yeah.
And I'm
Castle
I'm
is
saying
the-
that not even seeing it, but I like the castle.
Colleton, Cougars,
Marcus, you
Castle.
got to go there.
I
It's a
haven't gone yet.
beautiful,
I gotta
beautiful-
go
I mean,
too.
You would call it the Den if you were going with
Let's
the
do it
Cougars
next year,
theme,
Max.
but Bluffton claims that already. But
Works.
Yeah,
for me.
and
the
but like
castle
it's
is kind of
it's
cool.
too beautiful to
I'll
be
run
a
it by
den.
Myers.
Yeah, no, it's they need to trademark that and put it somewhere because it's too beautiful a facility to just
Oh.
be a gym. Like that's
You know who gets the credit for the design, I'm told, or at least a consult on the design. He's the one who said this is how we should do it. Is Michael Tu, former Bluffton and former Colleton County coach. He was the
I
head
didn't
coach
know he was in Colleton County.
when they built it. Yeah.
Now musician.
Yeah.
Former basketball
yeah.
coach turned musician, and a fine
Yeah.
one at that.
Absolutely. I think he was.
He played for Bob Stevens on our news.
Yeah, I
couple
think
years
he was
back.
musicianing even while he was basketball coaching, but I think he's doing a lot more, playing a lot more music these days.
Yeah,
It always
no
makes me think of what's Ron Swanson's
The jazz guy.
side? Yeah. I can't think of his name right now. Duke
Plays
something.
Owen.
Yeah. But that's what I was thinking of when I think of Michael Tu going to play songs. But yeah, your girls look good though, Misa.
yeah. I didn't get to catch the girls' game. I had
Oh yeah.
open season practice, so I left Mary a little too late. But on the updates I was getting and the report I got after, they came out really strong. The first time we lost to Colleton, we were really sluggish and flat, but tonight they came out strong and kind of just set the tone early with a very comfortable halftime lead, and then the second half they didn't back down. 28 points in the second half to win 50-19. So that's a big region win for them as they try and fight for a playoff spot. So we have Bishop England Friday night. They're the top dogs, but we were trying to figure out, okay, what did Hilton Head do tonight, and how can we emulate that Friday? Do we put ice on the road to delay their travel? Do we try and bring some fake snow in? What do we need to do to make this happen? But kudos to them. Coach Kicks is doing a great job with that program. Losing our star player early. Like we did with Jordan. In the early season. That hurt us. And you guys can see we struggled a bit, with the score line and scoring, but recently they've kind of found their groove and figured out, what works. So now it's just making a late region run. Sorry, guys. That's my dog playing with her new toy.
I was going to say, what do I hear in the background? Is it
It's her birthday.
one of Kevin's cats? Is it one of Justin's cats? It's not one of mine.
We have our Stricklander has his boy Blue that always.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It was very balanced tonight for May River. 10 apiece for Dalton and Duncan, 8 for Avery Davis, and 6 apiece for Ashley Williams and Nia Taylor. So
looking forward to seeing them next week at Buford.
And the May River Wrestlers locked up the 7th consecutive region title tonight. No surprise there. I think they got a real shot to win it all this year. East Side is not in 4A anymore.
Not here anymore.
Clear path.
No golf.
And on the wrestling, also on the wrestling front, Hulk Hagen reports that they have replaced Augusta Highway's 1,000 potholes with 1,000 deer.
Yeah,
had to slam on the brakes a number of times. Bridges fell to Edisto 48-30, but beat Whale Branch and Barnwell. So there you go.
Yeah, I can agree with Augusta. I can agree with Augusta Highway potholes, man. That is true.
He texted me when they were about to leave and said, about to travel the highway of 1,000 potholes. And then he said, OMG, they paved it. But I guess the deer like it better now that it's paved. They like prancing across that nice paved road. Wes, tell us more about the games in the nest tonight.
Yeah,
girls survived a
scare.
Seahawks boys with a big win.
Wire. We had that girls game where the Seahawks almost found a way to come back. A really valiant effort there by the ladies, and really should have at least pushed it to overtime. A couple of tough sequences near the end, including a missed layup that was really a wide open layup. That you feel for them. You feel for when that happens, when you have a chance to tie it up. It was after a steal, missed the layup, and then unable to find another opportunity late as Bishop England was able to hit a couple free throws and pretty much ice it there. Although Roten did make a free throw line jumper to put some pressure on. Unfortunately, a little too late. for the Seahawks there, but the guys got it done. Overcame a double-digit deficit in the first half. They cut it to 7 by halftime, and they went to work in the second half and found a way to rally. And man, the resilience and the incredible culture of this team, Shane Brown and company. I'll tell you what, that first quarter, you saw a little just rust. You saw a lot of rust from that team in the first quarter. They didn't feel like themselves. Bishop England kind of had their way, making some shots, and then as we got into the middle point of that second quarter, you really started to see them find the groove that we know they have, and they kind of rode that into the second half. And so many different guys who came up big throughout this game. Obviously, Kyrie Smith, and or rather the guy I meant to Tajay Wright. I'm naming
Najee Ray,
old
what a
names
player!
here, but
Solid.
Goodness.
yeah, I was thinking of another guy, but yeah, Tajay Wright was tremendous. He kind of took over in that second quarter and was important in the third as well. And then Reese Stewart, really consistent shooting, knocked down a couple of threes in the first quarter to kind of keep Hilton afloat early, which turned out to be important down the stretch. And then hit another three in the second half as well. Caleb Spangler was a beast inside, getting some hard-nosed buckets. And then another guy who showed up big time, Lucky Johnson, with an enormous 2-pointer late in that fourth quarter. So, they really dug in defensively. They didn't allow much for Bishop England out of the gates in the second half, and that defense really helped set the tone for once the offense got hot and they got on that run. They kind of took control from there. So, just a really resilient, gritty win against a very good team, and so that's going to be an important one to get. And now you build momentum towards a rematch with Bluffton on Friday, and Reese Stewart with 996 career points. He's 4 away from 1,000, which you will
That's great.
get.
He'll get that before we call him. You can
Marcus, I know how much you love calling those 1,000-point scores.
I do.
Courtney Campbell, we were both there for that one.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
But yeah, what a player that Reese Stewart has been. He's been there for a while over there at the Nest, and I'm pumped to see him really shine even up brighter in these last few opportunities for him. And 1,000 points doesn't matter, really how long you've been there or how many games you've been there, doesn't matter. 100,000 points is hard to get at the high school level, so it's a big accomplishment if you're able to do it. So just big time congrats to Reese and the Siltnet team for really fine. It did not look good through those first couple of minutes. But sometimes it's your first game back from a while, from a long storm delay with the winter storm Enzo. But they found the groove, and oh my goodness, it is going to be fun down the stretch in this region. Really is wide open for the taking. As we look at the standings right now, Bluffton may be tied for first at 4-1. They have not played each other yet because the first meeting was postponed.
They play each other twice in 3 days.
We'll have that second matchup.
That is going to be very, very fun. Hilton Head, 3-2, sitting strong there in third place. They did lose the mirror, but they did beat Bluffton. A head-to-head sweep over Bluffton would be huge. Friday night is enormous for the Seahawks, but for Bluffton as well. So, going to be a great one over there at the Den, and I expect a tight one over there for Friday. I like the way Hilton. I think Hilton really showed a lot from how they came from behind and how they responded. And Bluffton, I think it's an important game for them as well. You want to find a way to avoid losing both those games to a region rival, and they have a lot to prove as well. Can they get the offense clicking and can they solve the Hilton Head defense, which was so good that first meeting? So should be a tremendous one on Friday. But man, 2 great basketball games. You feel for the Seahawks girls because they played one heck of a ball game and a completely different story from what we saw that first meeting with Bishop England, and they almost got it done just some fine tuning, mistakes that went the other way. Unfortunately, that kind of was a difference in that game. But like what Coach R is doing for that team.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Wes, I don't know if you've seen all the scores from tonight, but or if there was anything else that really jumped out at you. May River rolling over Colleton County on the girls' side. They're looking good.
Yeah.
The middle part of that region is very interesting to me now, and we can scroll over to the girls'
Yeah,
side.
it's still in terms of that two and three kind of. There's still gonna be a lot
Right.
of.
So like Bishop England is clearly, well, I mean, Bishop England and Buford, I think, are sort of a tier unto themselves.
Yep.
But I could see like Hilton Head or May River sneaking up and beating Buford too. So, but then with Hilton Head playing Bishop England the way they did tonight, I'm like, man, I think Buford could get them.
Yeah.
Like I think the margins are a little narrower than we maybe once thought.
Right.
So Colleton seems down, and Bluffton's struggling. They're very young, but as far as May River, Hilton Head, Buford, Bishop England, I feel like any of those can beat any on any given night.
Yeah.
So, and I think Bluffton could sneak by someone too
Right.
on the right night.
I would agree
So-
with that, especially seeing them a couple of times with the effort that they bring forth, and again, Buford
If
definitely
Elmira
had the
gets on a
advantage
heater,
tonight,
yeah,
but
if Elmira
they've
gets
got
on a
some
heater, they could beat
they've
somebody.
got some good players there, and they could maybe take somebody on an off night.
Yep.
And did Elmira play tonight? Did you mention her?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
she did. She had a good night. I've seen her be a little bit more tenacious in past, but she had a good night. It just Bluffton seemed a
They
little
just
bit
like
tired to me tonight.
they kind
I
of
think
need
that's
her to
the
have a
best
great
way that I
night.
can say it, is that they just looked a little bit off and a little bit tired tonight. But again, going back to what I saw out of Buford, that record is deceiving because the Buford
For sure.
girls are dangerous.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Very.
Any other pressing thoughts, gentlemen, on basketball before we talk
What
about
caught
something
your
else?
eye tonight, Kev?
83 points from Bluffton.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, come on. Like, who's going to keep up with that pace?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, but
Gonna be hard.
it is Buford, and Buford has struggled. But yeah, 83 points is a lot.
Yeah, but the
I mean,
point being, if you
Buford
can score 83, most teams can't
You can beat
even
anybody.
think
Right.
about
That's very
that.
true.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, it's great to see Bluffton continuing to win, and now tied with May River, as they go into a big game Friday against Hilton Head. For Buford, however, I'm thoroughly disappointed this season in them.
Yeah.
But it's been that story this year with Buford. It's not just the men's
Well,
Not the
football kind of set
wrestling,
the
not
tone.
with the
Not just-
wrestling team though. The
not the
wrestling team's
wrestling
having a
team.
good
Right.
year, and the
Wrestling
girls
team's
are
had
having a good year.
season, but it's kind of been that story this year. The
Yeah.
football team extremely disappointing, but then again, they had a lot of injuries that they went through that really hurt their season.
Yeah.
Then you look at the basketball team, also have had some injuries this season as well, and it's
It's a
also hurt
bummer.
their season.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
I had hopes for Buford to be
I
very
did
competitive
too.
within this region this year. I looked at their squad and I said they could be a team that could scare some people in this region this year. It just hasn't been the case.
No.
It's disappointing, but you also have to understand what they've had to deal with in both football and basketball this season.
And it's because they have so many players, as you see with all these teams. That's actually one thing I was talking to Reggie Jones about during the guys' game when he sat down next to Sam and I. So many of these players play multiple sports. So especially on the guys' side, doesn't matter what team you're looking at, you're dealing with a lot of football players. So that really
Yep.
says a lot just about how much energy they have and that type of thing, and nicks and cuts and injuries just anyway.
Yep.
So it definitely makes sense, because on the
Yeah.
girls' side as well, certainly the guys' side, you're looking at 2, maybe even 3 sport athletes.
Right.
It can be a lot.
Right. Yeah, it's difficult. And
But
I really
kudos to
hope,
those that do it. I'm not
yeah.
saying not to do it,
I mean,
but
No,
just
you
bringing
should
the
do it.
point
exactly.
again.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
and I really hope this doesn't move into spring sports, because you just have a feeling that
Yeah.
every now and then, when a school has a bad start
Oh,
to the
yeah.
year in athletics, when it comes to the football team, it usually sometimes every now and
Yeah.
then moves into basketball, and then
Yeah.
slowly moves into
I
spring
mean,
sports.
Mhm.
I hope that's not the case. I really want to see, because I think Buford girls soccer is going to
And
be
I
a
think
really tough opponent
baseball's
this
been a
year.
great program for a while.
yeah,
Yeah, and
and
you really,
I think
I think
it's a hard,
it's
it's a weird thing when that happens. Like, because
yeah,
definitely you have some of that seep, like whatever the culture seeps out, right? So when the culture is toxic, it gets on everything, and when it's good,
yeah,
it spreads
Mhm.
on everything too. You can insulate your program to some degree, and Misa, you can probably speak to this more than I can at this point, just from an experience level. But you can do a lot to within your program. You have your own ecosystem, that you can control a lot, but there's also going to be some spillover. And certainly when if you've got a one program where the attitudes have soured, and players come from that program to the next program and they bring that attitude, then you've got to fight against that, like, vigilantly, and
yeah.
and get it out. And that can be a hard thing. So, I mean, the success of other programs definitely impacts the programs around them. You agree, Misa?
And let's remember they're playing 4A now. So
Yeah.
they go from being
Yep.
one of the top programs in 3A to a much more difficult and bigger schools in 4A.
Yes.
Mhm.
So even if you look in our region, the only school that I think size population wise that's smaller than Buford is Bishop England.
Hmm.
And that's a
Mhm.
private school that can, I don't want
Right.
to say the R word,
Yeah.
but that's a private school with more abilities
It
to
draws students from a
entice.
greater
Yes,
geographical area.
yes. There we go.
Right.
Thank you for the save there.
Geolocation.
So when you're looking at multi-sport athletes, like Marcus was saying, that it's more difficult because you're playing tougher
Right.
games. You're playing, bigger
Yeah.
teams that have more depth, and
Yep.
especially like you see football, how many injuries they had that carries over into basketball. So when you're dependent on multi-sport athletes at a point where Buford is right now, you're still recovering from football season.
Right.
So I think you're seeing that in some ways with the basketball team, and you'll see it in the spring as well. But it's like Justin was saying, to try to, with multi-sport athletes or schools of that size, when you're trying to, hey, football is different than basketball, or volleyball is different than girls basketball or wrestling or softball or track, whatever. It's difficult when it's like, man, we just survived fall season and I'm
Mhm.
going right into winter, and as soon as winter is over, I'm going right into spring, and I have had no time to recover, and just kind of
Right.
get myself, at top shape. So I do think there is
Mentally too. Recover
Yeah.
mentally.
Yes,
Right.
I do think there's some adjustments to them in 4A now. You go from the region you were in last year as one of the bigger programs, where you can have 2 or 3 standout athletes, and that makes a difference, to now you're one of the smaller schools in 4A, and your standout athletes are like still productive,
Mhm.
but it's not enough. And so now you got to do
Right.
more. So I do think that this year for the athletics, you're seeing on the boys' side, it's going to be kind of a learning curve, and having to adapt to being in a bigger classification with bigger schools.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 1,700 students at May River High School. Beaufort has maybe 1,000, 1,100. So, and that's within our district.
That's a pretty wide
That's a
range.
big
Mhm.
disparity.
Right.
Very
So
well.
No doubt.
That's
so
literally 50% more students. Like,
yeah.
that's,
So
that's
I
pretty significant.
I think this year in some sports you're going to see it, especially on the boys' side. But I think they'll adapt. They have a good, solid culture over there, with their athletics overall. You still have
Mhm.
a dominant track program. See how they do this year in 4A. You're seeing the girls' basketball team that are. I didn't have them being this good this season.
Yeah, me neither.
In
And they're going to be real good for a while.
they are, and they're
You
young.
The other
So,
thing that maybe contributes, and I hadn't thought about it until this moment, but it may be one of those lagging indicator things. They had a chaotic year last year where switched ADs mid-year, had an interim
Yeah.
AD, and that's underrated, because it's just like, it ends up being a division of labor situation, and like, who's actually really making the decisions, and
Right.
who's making sure that everybody has all their assistant coaches in place, and that stuff carries over into next year in a big way. The stuff that you do in the spring sets you up
Yeah.
for the next year. So, I think it was just a perfect storm for them this year with that move back to 4A. the AD situation, some new coaches, and just some various things and injuries and all that stuff hit at once. And it's not like Buford High Athletics is in the tank for the rest of
No.
time or anything. They're going to be fine.
No, every program
Look who's in the
goes
green
through these
room.
kinds of slumps and
Look at this man in the green room, Javon Livingston.
Hey,
yeah,
buddy?
we got a
How you
packed
doing?
house tonight.
We was just listening to you. Everybody's been cooped up. They're ready to get in here in the studio. I like
Dude,
it.
what
Oh
a
yeah.
game you had tonight. What a game you had tonight out at
Yeah,
Wilmington.
Yeah, but
You missed some
listen,
good
that
ones on
was
the island. You missed some good ones
Both-
on the island,
both
Javon.
Will
I
Branch
saw that. I was looking at the
and
scores. I
Branch
was looking at,
service.
and Well Branch, you ain't got no service. So I get out of Well Branch, and my phone's like, ding, 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 ding. And I'm like looking at all the comments and seeing the upsets and the Colleton and the Hilton Head, but I'm like, and then I see the scores going across the ticker, and I'm like, boy, tonight was a night.
Heck of a first
No
night
doubt.
back in the gyms for sure.
It was a banger.
Oh yeah, man, that was it. To start it back off, man. This was a good night all around, for sure.
Yes.
So, how about that Whale Branch Bridges boys game though? Because that game was
Seen
bananas.
some classics.
Whale Branch
Man,
came
look,
out
both
on
games have been
fire.
classics.
Bridges couldn't
Yeah.
score anything.
And in years past too.
And then all of a sudden, like I took a phone call, I looked up, and Bridges was taking the lead. And then
Yeah.
Ivan Gray got 2 techs, and then it was just a dogfight to the finish.
well, for me, it's one of those things where it sounds like if you're a coach, you can't pound it enough. Across all sports that have to do with the ball, turnovers.
Yep.
Well, Branch, man, they did it before in that game, and I was saying they were up on Well Branch. They got those free techs at the beginning of the game, the 10 shots by Gonzalez, and when you get that, you can't give them any extra possessions or turnovers. And Well Branch, they got up early, 15 to 18 points, something like that. They got up early.
Yeah.
And then credit to Bridges, they played well. They started dropping some threes. I think they had like 4 players hit a 3 during that run. I think it was Gray that hit 2, and then everybody else hit 1. Like everybody started rolling, even though Wilson was in foul trouble and hadn't made a field goal like for most of that first half. Like they were doing their thing, but then they just had careless turnovers, man. If you were to pickpocket, I mean, there's ball in the offhand near your own sideline, and you're drunk trying to set up a play, and then ball just loses the handle. Like, oh, and you know what I'm saying? Like, not somebody reached forward, not they got trapped, not they pass to an open teammate over his head, and it's like what are you
Unforced
doing?
errors.
Unforced errors. Like, what are you doing? And they were capitalizing on it, and they hit those threes, and then unfortunately held them off. But the point I made to Tristan was that regardless of what happened so far, at the end of every buzzer, Well Branch had the lead.
Yep.
Whether the lead changed or not, they closed out all the quarters.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Faber still got a little magic, man. He still got a little magic.
Well,
he knows
they'll
how
be
to
all right.
coach some kids up.
Well, if their big guys play like bigs, and that was the biggest thing. If you go to the beginning of that game, Broxton and Evans were not the problem tonight. They were making buckets inside. Evans was using, it wasn't like wide open field goals. It was caught the balls up high, make the shot using your height. Like, he was making those. Before, he wasn't making those. He just looked like the big guy in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Trying to find something. But he was making it. He had some sweet passes on the inside for Tony Broxton. Broxton made his going up strong. And that was a big piece. If he could get those two to consistently play, and granted, it took a toll on them. Evans was cramping during the game. You saw Broxton at the end of the game. He was down on the court for a minute at the end. But if he can get those 2 guys to play, they might have a different tune here at the end of the season.
He's talking about basketball, Hulk. Jake said, well, Branch beat Bridges 66-65, and Hagen said, nah, we won, Jake, 59-24. Your score is impossible. That math doesn't math. I do have one highlight that I don't know whether it made the actual highlight reel, but this was the highlight of the broadcast for me tonight, Javon. Let me
Did Javon
crank the
sing?
audio up here.
If it's a bucket, it's there.
I don't know.
Or a block.
Oh, wait.
Whoa.
Let me redo this share screen because no, it's not a bucket or a block. It's commentary.
Oh, it's commentary.
There we go.
We got.
Who was in a bad position? Fields inbounded it.
You guys got the audio?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Wait for it.
PTP, Mike. PTP. That's what I like to call it.
Oh, the Dickie V.
PTP, baby. PTP. I like to call him prime time player.
For a second, I thought Javon was going to just start singing, I'm walking on sunshine.
No, I had to note the timestamp on that one because I got a good kick out of your Dickie V. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But,
I did sing a little bit though. I did sing a little bit though.
Did
it? Yeah. He Tristan miscalled the bucket. He said it was good, and he was like, "Oh no, not good, not good." I was like, "It's okay, man. You mess up sometimes. It's cool." And then I started, "We fall down, but we get up." I started singing that.
We'll check out a few of the highlights here as we wind this thing down, picking it up in the second half. When
So Javon, what
second
song
quarter,
do we have to play Friday for you to sing along to at the deep end?
At the deep end, man. Listen, I don't know, man. It just comes to me in the moment, man. I don't karaoke, man. I mute my mic, man.
Right. Yeah, it's just I feel you.
On Friday night.
You just feeling the vibes, feeling the flow. Just whatever
That's
comes
it.
to mind. That's what comes out.
Yeah.
It's all stream of consciousness. But yeah, here comes Bridges making the rally. This is a crazy game. Y'all had a fun time covering it too. I enjoyed it.
I mean, both of the boys' games were fun this year to watch.
Oh yeah,
with Bridges and Well Branch.
I tell you what, Kevin and I have been to that rivalry twice in the last couple of years. We were trying to get there this year, but couldn't make it work with the schedule. I remember 2 years ago, the first time we were there, that 85-70 ball game, and I was thinking of that when I was thinking of what I saw with Bluffton and their guys team tonight. I think the last time that I saw in person an 80-point performance was that game that I called with you, Kev, the 85-70 Whale Branch victory over Bridges. Believe that was at Bridges Prep at the Caffeinasium.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a fun night. So much talent here.
I like Tristan's now signature 3-point call, by the way. Connects.
Yeah, connect. Yeah.
It's good. Connect.
He's been trying to find it. I called him before because he started trying to do the Mike Breen started trying to do the bang, and I was like, "Hey, you can get sued for that."
Do your own
You can get sued for that.
I had someone who
I
went
mean,
to,
bang is a natural one, though.
Student announcer in college.
Yeah.
Went,
I've been known.
Every time somebody made a three, it was.
I mean, you guys.
What'd you have, Wes? What'd you have, Wes?
No, I just remember one of our schools in our conference. The student broadcaster every time made a three, yelled "pow!" like
Pow.
Yeah. You just gotta find your thing, man.
That would be your play-by-play call, Kev.
What's the name?
You guys are known for it.
Last year, Thomas was trying to find his too, and Thomas was splash. Yeah, Thomas was saying splash last year.
That's what you.
Was
it?
Yeah.
From your USCB.
That's what I use in the Cove for sure because it makes sense.
Well, that makes sense. The Sharks too. So it's,
Yeah, that's why I kind of gravitated to it, at least in the USCB games, because it just makes sense to go splash.
Marcus says bottoms.
Bottoms.
When the players came together with the refs, was that when he
That was the double
Yeah,
tap.
that was after the 2 techs. I forgot to hit the replay for that to save it in place when he got
You
the
must
2
have said
techs
some
back to back.
magic words.
Yeah, well, because
Walked
he got one.
away.
He got one in play, and then he tried to mouth to
Yeah.
the referee a little bit, I think, and then I think that's
Yeah.
what happened. And they set up another one. And they
He said
almost
the
got
wrong
Fabe.
thing.
They almost got Coach Faber for one too, as well. And then I just think it's funny, like even though the girls' game wasn't as exciting, both games got chippy. They had to pull some players out. Jacobs and Libs with the cat. But they had to put Jacobs and some out.
Who is that you're next to, Kev?
This is Michelle.
I knew it. I wanted to see if I had it right.
Check out my
Destiny's
white
Children,
shoes.
as it were.
You never know when Javon's karaoke is going to fire up.
Yeah, I got that one. I got that one from Flossie Carter, man. He does like smartphone reviews and stuff. And he has a cat that's always in his unboxing videos with white paws, and he always plays that. He's always like, "White shoes, calm down."
And I did not know who was going to win this game until the very end. It was
I saw a bit of it,
crazy.
and then I stopped watching it for some reason. I think it was when I got home. And
so for me, like that's the tug, man, because Coach Brockington, man, we go back since high school, so I'm rooting for him. But then Branch, just like they've been such a good program for years, and it's just this season is just kind of sucked to see them like that, So it was just, and I just love good sport too. So I was like, I didn't really care who won, but I was just like, I just think for Will Branch, you want to talk about turning the program around or getting a good win to say the season wasn't all bad. This was the game for them. They got to carry this. And when they started losing the lead, I was like, here comes Bridges, baby.
Yeah, they needed this one bad. That one
man.
was sick.
I
You said
tell
he
you,
was
I
called up
almost
from the
saw.
JV?
That's a huge
Yeah. Dick, I think it's Dixon, something like that. I think it was. He got pulled up from JV. And he was trying to score. He was like, I'm not trying to go back to JV. They let me off the bench.
Oh, that's what
I'm
he was talking
not
about.
trying to go back.
That was
I
think he got
almost
fired.
saw
Fields kid
Myra
hit that deep
hit
one, right?
a really long three tonight. She missed it, but it was from well beyond 3-point range near the top of the key. Not quite half court. A little
Taking
bit
the logo,
further in,
the
certainly,
Like
but
a
it was
logo three.
Yeah,
it was a
like a Caitlin
long
Clark three.
range attempt.
That's what they call. I mean, Steph Curry. But now the guys and the girls. I mean, Caitlin
Oh, yeah.
Clark is
And LeBron James.
From anywhere.
LeBron James. Steph Curry was
yeah,
just
I'm
better at
giving
it.
some love. Yeah, LeBron James for sure, and Kobe before that.
LeBron James came in shooting that logo three.
Why
But
can't
Kobe,
you
Yeah,
Kobe wasn't more of a Kobe was
Why ain't
he was
yam
good for
that?
every Rosen was a 3-point. I mean, he was, but like
break the
Steph
backboard,
revolutionized the
big guy.
three, and then Caitlin
Right?
Clark kind of did it for him.
Wes, I will start sending you clips. Don't do
All right.
it.
We got to
by
get
the way,
Javon and
deny-
Fish together to sing the praises of LeBron.
You
Hey,
can't deny the
LeBron's that
greatness of
dog,
LeBron
man.
James. I will tell you that you cannot deny what he did in 2016 for Cleveland. I mean, and even before that, the first time he brought them to the finals back
That
in
convinced
2000.
me.
I mean, he
I
was.
just hate the Dallas finals for him, man. The Dallas
Yeah.
finals for him, man. That's
Well,
Is that
He
the one
needed
where Rhea
that,
posted
though.
him up?
hey, that was
Yeah,
He
that was
really
yeah.
needed that.
That's where he couldn't get past JJ.
That was enough. Listen, it's not that he lost it. It was just how he lost it. That's what killed him, man. He disappeared, man.
Yeah.
As opposed to winning it by convincing Draymond to kick someone in the pants.
Oh yeah, Draymond did that to himself.
Draymond.
So
So this game, man, and if they lost this game, I was going to say it is what it is, and talk about how good Bridges is. Because if they won this game on an off night from Wilson, because he played fine defensively, but he got in foul trouble. He fouled it at the end. I think through that first half, he might have had one field goal. He had like 3 free throws. Like that's it. He didn't really score too much field goals. They were mostly free throws at first before the second half. So I was like, if you catch Wilson on the off, that one was a.
He smoked that one.
He leads the nation in blocks, man. It's crazy.
Well, on Max
Not
Prep,
everybody. Yeah, on Max Preps, everybody doesn't put it in, but
and it's also on
that's
the
still
honor
crazy.
system. There's nobody
That's
verifying them
that's
stats.
still crazy.
I gotta
Nobody's
say though,
verifying Michael Jordan stats either. Like
Whoa.
No,
those were
yes.
pushed.
That's
Don't.
true.
Those were
Don't.
No,
pushed.
those
Those were
were
pushed.
verified.
He were
Somebody
getting some
was
add.
sitting there inputting
His
them
stats, his
He got some
MJ
added
stats are
assists.
more
during the
genuine than
game.
LeBron's hairline.
There was
Okay,
video.
let's
He
make
got
that
some
clear.
added numbers for some triple doubles. Yes, he did.
I'm just,
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I'm
MJ
just
stats are
Come
saying.
more
on,
genuine than LeBron's
come on,
hairline. Okay,
All
come
right, all
on.
right,
we're not
all
doing
right,
this.
all right.
I'm
What
just
did you say, Misa?
saying. There are
You said what
certain
about a
MJ
hairline?
games that
stats,
you look at
MJ
their
stats,
stats and you have
LeBron's
questions.
hairline.
Oh, a hairline?
Which
Yeah.
was more genuine?
Tilt your
I
head
have
down
a
a little
very
bit,
good
Misa.
point to make.
I know, but I'm not. Look, I'm not faking it. I'm not getting hair plug extensions in Germany to make it seem like I'm still 21 years old.
Hey, he's got
I
that money
do.
though, baby.
I do have questions, if I'm being honest, about Bridges' assists. I don't know who tracks their assists, but I've watched that team play a bunch of games, and I do not believe they average 14 assists a game. I do not
Yeah,
believe
a
it.
lot of passes. That I can't quantify
I
that.
do. I find that
No way.
impossible to believe.
No freaking way. There's no way.
That's a lot of
There's just
swinging the
no
ball.
chance.
By the way,
There's just no chance.
when
I've
he went
seen
on,
that team play a lot of games.
Couple extra steps still counts
Sometimes
after
they
doing a
don't
little
score
pump fake.
15 field goals. Like, I
After a
mean,
couple pump fakes, it still counts.
Four passes later, you still
I
count
think we're doing
assists.
soccer assists, Misa.
No, we don't
Yeah.
do soccer assists like that. That's the hockey assist. Hey,
Yeah.
Oh,
three
yeah.
passes ago. That's the assist, guys.
Everybody
We
who
got
touched
one
it.
basket tonight.
Yeah, the goalie got an assist.
you have 100 assists on the season.
But it was a fun night. But we should bring it to a close. All good things must end. So I wanted to shout out a few more sponsors. Shout out to Hudson's Seafood House on the docks. Just re-upped with us as a Loco Booster Club member. We appreciate them. They've been the presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. Got a new episode supposed to come out tomorrow night. So we'll make sure everybody's on board for that. We got Base Hit Life, our official baseball and softball apparel sponsor. Go check them out at basehitlife.com. Live your best base hit life. Max not wearing the hoodie tonight, not repping. Dr. Ambrose Cole, our official chiropractor. He's at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right in mind, body, and spirit. Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. And Jay's Barbershop, place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. Final thoughts, boys? We're going to have a lot of final thoughts here. Let's try to keep them somewhat.
Yeah. Just wrapping up tonight. Just awesome to be back in the gym. That's kind of And my overall thought is, just and for the Seahawks, what a gutsy win for the guys. Shane Brown, I'm not sure where he sit halftime, but or even after that first quarter break, but certainly after they started to find their legs a bit, they got back to the style of game which I know they play. So they've done it so often. It seems like he finds some guys out of nowhere, and they end up producing big time buckets, and that's kind of what we're seeing with some of those Seahawks this year, including some guys that weren't on our radar at all that kind of came up big. Talking about guys like a Lucky Johnson or Caleb Spangler. We knew Spangler from football season.
They always have guys like that come out of
they always
nowhere
do.
and have a
They're
big
always
game.
blue collar guys. Like they know how to show up in big moments, and they just play so well as a team. And despite that Maryville loss, which did not look like themselves that night, they rebounded a big way here at home, and that's an enormous win to put them right now in third, but in striking distance of Bluffton May River, and a chance to go for the sweep of the Bobcats at the Den on Friday, which should be another terrific game. And shout out to the ladies because they delivered a heck of an effort. Leah Jackson, such a valuable piece of that team with her defense, and really that's what kept them in the game. That defense was tremendous. And Myra Roten, such a nice clutch shot maker, had a couple of big ones in the second half. Unfortunately, not enough. But Onan had herself a monstrous game, and really was the big reason offensively. Abby Onan, that they were in this game. She hit 4 3-pointers, and so that's talk about showing up in a big game. She certainly did that for the Seahawks. Unfortunately, not enough to get it done, but still, like we're seeing from Hilton Head, who should compete for a possible top 3 spot in this region.
Very good.
Long story short, the Loco is like a box of chocolates.
That's right.
Yes,
You
indeed.
never know what you're gonna get.
Mom always said, "Stupid thinks, stupid does."
6-4A is going to be wild. Kevin and I are going to see a bunch
Especially that
of
region.
6-4A basketball over the next couple of weeks. I guess next week, and then 2 games week after. So starting next week over about the following week and a half. But I'm looking forward to my first broadcast on Thursday. JJ filling in for Kev with HHCA and JP2. I tell you what, I mean, I think I know what to expect, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be great to get back behind the mic and look forward to a pretty good doubleheader. I think come Thursday on
Yeah,
WHHI.
I think I like JP2 in both games as far as I think they have the edge, but certainly rivalry games you can throw out the records, right? So
Right.
should be good.
Is
Yes,
there any
sir.
way we could throw HHP in Region 6 4A just for the
Right?
season?
The
Jesus,
both
man.
both the boys and girls would both fit in well into that region. I think they would be right in the mix. That would be fun. Their region's ugh, so boring.
Yeah.
Misa, Javon, parting thoughts?
Yeah, for me, I just want to give kudos to Coach Powell. 7 region
Yep.
championships in 9 years. That's a dynasty program right there, and the culture that he's brought to the wrestling program from scratch.
No
You know,
doubt.
it's you can tell every year they don't rebuild, they just reload. This year they had some tough matches that they put against 5A schools and whatnot. To a present for what hopefully will be a deep state run. We're hosting. I think we're the 1 seed, I believe. So we'll host Saturday for sure and host all throughout. But you know, it's not easy to win 7 consecutive region championships. So kudos to him, the wrestling program, the coaching staff. They work day in and day out, in season, out of season. Coach Powell, football in the fall, but he still has wrestling guys focused, you know, who don't play multiple sports. And then in the winter they get to work. And then in the spring, Coach Powell's still working, you know, attending games, driving teams around, you know, and so he's a great example of what it's to be Shark Athletics, May Rivers. So, you know, he's one of the few left of the originals. There's like 3 of us left now. But kudos to him in the program, on the region, on the dominant region. You know, as a Shark, it's nothing sweeter than beating your biggest rival at their place and winning a region championship. I don't know what's better, that or taking them out of the playoffs at their place with a 2-point conversion, but no comment there. Moving forward. Kudos to Coach Powell and the wrestling program on another successful season, and hopefully a very deep and great end to what has been a phenomenal season for them.
And we noted last night that Powell selected to coach the North-South.
Yes, North-South. He's one of the coaches.
Yeah, I saw that too. Congratulations, man.
Big kudos to Coach Powell.
And then
I feel bad I didn't get to no wrestling matches this year, man. So far, man, it's just wrestling's a tough cover, man.
I know what else I was going to say.
Wrestling's tough.
Powell also, by the way, had a returning state champion who was just going to be a sophomore who decided that he wasn't going to wrestle school wrestling anymore. He's training on his own, wrestling, MMA, jiu-jitsu, all kinds of different stuff in Houston, Rudisill. So that was something where you went into the season going, holy cow, you know, they got a chance to win it all, and now their best guy's not going to wrestle. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they just failed.
That's still crazy. That's still crazy.
Yeah.
To opt out of competitiveness, especially with May River. And
I mean, it's not like he's not competing at a high level, but he always did wrestling to improve his wrestling for MMA, because he's always been on that MMA track, and he came to wrestling late. He came to it from MMA because he needed to improve his grappling, and then he became a state champion. And I think he kind of proved to himself he could do it. And now it's like, okay, well, but do I really need to go 40-0 in high school this year to get where I want to go? You know, so like, it's not the decision I would have made, but I don't fault anybody.
If he makes it big, it sounds really good. It sounds really good on his fight card, though.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, he could have been. He most likely would have been the first 4-time state champ from the Loco. Like
he's already won 3. He's already won 3.
No, he won it as a freshman and then didn't wrestle this year as a sophomore.
Oh, okay.
He was
He could
on
have been.
track. He only lost 2 matches last year, and they were both to kids from out of state. He was
Mm.
legit. He's legit. He's going to be a star in some discipline.
I'd have kept rolling that because I mean, as a worst, you just get a scholarship in wrestling. You know,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
with you there. But everybody's running their own race, so I
that's true.
can't call it.
I
We'll
can't
see
say
where he
nothing. I
ends
didn't
up.
have that talent, so I can't make
No.
those choices for him. I was
Yeah, I didn't have that
high,
option available to me.
highest rank I got was the 7, so that's that's it. So
Max, Kevin, parting thoughts?
I have something that I didn't share the other night that I forgot to do. Being that spring sports are right around the corner, I saw the South Carolina coaches preseason poll has come out for the state of South Carolina, and to my surprise, no local sports teams are in any of the
That's
preseason
baseball.
rankings for baseball this year.
Right.
Very, very shocking,
Yeah.
unusual. I thought May River was going to get in for the 4A
Motivation.
yeah, they knocked off James Island last year.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares about preseason polls?
Bishop England
Chad-
is in
yeah.
there.
Yes, agreed. Agreed, Wes. I agree.
Yeah,
I
they're
will
used.
say the one thing that shocked me, but also didn't shock me, was James Island grabbed the number 1 preseason spot for the 5A Division 1, and so they're ahead of teams like Dutch Fork and Somerville. So Somerville sits 4th in those preseason polls.
That's
which is
exactly
unusual.
why I think they're sleeping on this region in baseball.
I agree. I agree.
May River beat them. Bluffton probably should have beat them.
Well, here's what's even more
Ufer
shocking.
went toe to toe with them all the time. Like, I mean, they
Yeah.
always won this region, but they didn't walk through it by any means.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I think this
But
region is tougher than
what's
people realize.
shocking. What interests me is there's only one team from our 4A region in the top 10, and that's Bishop England. Yeah,
They
Lawrence,
belong there.
BC, Flora, and Daniel are the top 3 teams. Bishop England sits in 6th, and it didn't look like any teams got votes from our Loco Sports area.
Yeah,
whatsoever,
I mean
which I find very shocking.
It doesn't
And
surprise
that's not
me
even
that much.
That's not even just 4A. That's like all the divisions we have. Not one team received any votes whatsoever.
It's surprising
for
just
the
because of the area that we're in. I mean, you expect to see some teams coming out about that Myrtle Beach area. The Grand Strand also always has some terrific baseball teams, and
There's
the
a
Upper
lot of good
State's not
baseball
bad
teams
either.
in 4A. Yeah, there's a lot of good
There
baseball
are a
teams
lot,
in
but
4A.
if I was expecting anyone to be in there, I thought.
Well, I think that
May River
I
would
think the
sneak
Sharks.
in
I
at
just
that.
want to see some good games, man. Baseball's been exciting for me.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Great. I love
this year. I think Bluffton lost a lot from last season, but I think
Yes,
May
they did.
River, they always have depth. They always have a bunch
Yeah.
of guys who are ready to produce for that team. And the
Yeah.
Sharks always have.
Buford's also going to
Yep.
be one of those teams to watch.
Yeah,
this
Buford
season
back
as
in that
well
same
for
region.
baseball.
Yeah, they have a decent amount back too. I think May River's going to be pretty good though. Melissa's.
I think May
pretty
River and
excited.
Bishop England. I can't wait for May River Bishop England
Yeah,
games.
that'll be a
Yeah.
great series.
That'll be great.
Those are going to be
That'll be great.
fun.
And I
But,
think
Yeah,
they're
we have 3 games.
They're going back to
this year.
3-game series now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
We do.
Are they?
game series Monday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
For
Friday.
what? For
Baseball,
Baseball,
softball.
for region.
Baseball and softball.
the region use 3 games.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 games in a week.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Monday, Wednesday,
Instead of
Friday.
last
It's like
year, they
doing-
went back
doing
to
Monday,
Monday,
Guys.
Wednesday only, and that was stunk.
I gotta get some sleep, man. Jesus
That did
Christ.
stink.
3
like that.
3
You don't
games.
got to cover
3
every
games?
game. Well,
Yeah.
Who would
on 3
who would I
different
who would I
nights.
who would I be?
Monday,
Who would I be?
Wednesday, Friday.
There, Javon.
Okay,
Monday,
but then what about
area.
soccer? What about soccer?
Soccer
Soccer's
to
Tuesday
Tuesday.
and
Tuesday's
Girls
big soccer
soccer.
night.
Lacrosse.
Friday.
Saturday morning.
Lacrosse
Yeah.
is
No,
Monday.
Tuesday's the big
Thursday.
soccer
Monday,
night. That's when all the
Thursday.
soccer
Yeah.
games take place.
Tuesday, Friday, soccer. Monday, Thursday, lacrosse.
Monday,
Yeah, but-
Wednesday, Friday,
Yeah.
baseball and
Yep.
softball. Track is
chaos.
on Wednesdays and
Yeah,
Saturdays.
But I just
absolute
thought I-
chaos in the spring.
Yeah, I
Oh.
just thought I would share.
Sleep on
yeah.
Sunday, Javon.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but I'm working on the track meet, man. Working
Oh,
on the track.
yeah?
Yeah.
We've
Nice.
been talking about it. Working on the
Blaze
track.
Classic.
I just
Nice.
thought
Working on it.
I just thought I'd share those preseason polls with you guys because I found it very interesting not seeing a single Loco sports team in
Yeah.
our area.
I would.
Representing.
I think May River's the only one that I would have thought might
Yeah,
be there.
I think Hilton
Yeah.
should be competitive this year. But
What you
We
got,
forgot about
Javon?
Elmstead. Yeah.
Javon got his
I,
hand up.
I'm not shocked, and it's not because that I don't believe that they're talented enough, but the reason why all of us are in our little video cubicles is because of every time they do rankings, they forget about us.
Right. I mean, that's kind
They,
of the whole point, right?
they
there's
do
just a lot of
they do
losing
low
those
country
rankings.
rankings. They do low country rankings, and don't I saw you JJ one time comment about it. They do years ago. They do low country rankings and don't include us.
There was nobody below
Right.
Berkeley
But
County or
yeah,
Dorchester
like
County in the Low Country rankings.
and,
That was
and
funny.
that man, low country and Buford had just came off of state, I believe. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I was intrigued. But that means Bishop England, as always, has usually a strong
Yep.
baseball program. So I'm excited to see what they have. But
Nobody
But Bishop
cares.
was
Win anyway.
it's crazy to think that spring sports are literally right around the
No,
corner.
no,
And
I mean, once you get to
Still got a little
mid-February,
ways to go.
Monday.
we still have a ways to
Monday's
go. Let the
Monday.
winners,
Monday-
let the
Monday
winter
Monday's the
athletes
start of open season.
have their time in the
Practices.
spotlight.
Really?
We start Monday.
Yep.
Because we are really
Yeah,
just
Justin,
getting started.
Wow.
starting softball.
We are really just
Main
getting started with this
softball
basketball season
Monday.
and wrestling as well. This is the
All right.
meat of winter sports once we get to this time of year.
hey,
Because
listen. Go ahead. My bad.
And that's what I was referring to, is that we still have a bunch of, with what I follow, what Kevin follows, what
Yeah.
a bunch of us follow.
let's
We've got
not
a
get
bunch of
too ahead of
basketball.
ourselves because we have
Oh,
we have
yeah.
to sort out
Right.
some
No, I'm not trying
some,
to, but I'm just
some
saying.
big time
But it's all
parity
coming.
in this 4A
Yes.
region as well. Both the guys and girls, but we've got some great matchups coming up. Friday is going to be another great slate. I'll be at Bluffton. I'll be at the Den to see the Seahawks and the Bobcats square off again, and that boys rematch is going to be a delight to see because Bluffton they want to show that they can hang with this Hilton Head team because they did not put their best showing out there at the Seahawks.
Right.
I'll tell you what, it's when I went
I wasn't expecting that either.
it felt like a long time. That whole
I
week
wasn't.
plus was just maybe more so
It's a
maybe
long
because
few
I
days.
actually went out of town for a while, but just
Yeah.
felt like it was a long time since.
Well, I will
That's
say
an
this:
eternity.
knowing and watching Bluffton this year, when they lose to a team and they have to play them again, usually they learn from their mistakes and
Yep.
they show up in the next game and scare the
Yep.
living
They've
crap
made
out
good
of the team. Like
adjustments.
they did that to Prep. We watched them lose against Prep.
That'll be a fun game.
It's
They'll
Well, I think
definitely
what
have
Hilton had-
adjustments, and then Shane will have to make adjustments in game, and it'll be fun.
Well,
Kevin
they
Libby,
did-
you had your hand up. Did you have a comment?
How was that?
Yes,
You guys
please.
are doing signals. Go ahead.
Yeah. We got 60 seconds left to avoid going over an hour and a half, so I'm going to
Yeah.
be wicked fast.
Yeah.
One,
Fair enough. Thank you, Time Master.
there's a charity in the Low Country called All About Cats. It maintains local feral colonies. If you ever want to get a cat, you can get a free cat anytime you want it. But there's so many cats that the people actually have to go outside and feed them. It's winter time. Please donate to All About Cats. It's really important. Speaking of cats, please read what I got to write on the women's Sand Sharks basketball team because Leah Gattosi is awesome. JJ is an outstanding editor. And while you're at it, read Wes's article about the men, which was exceptional because that'll get you, if you're not already, all in on the men's team, Wes's article really does a good job at digesting what makes them so special.
By the way, that was a great
Great
segue
article.
between the cat PSA and League
Yeah,
of Tozy,
and
which
the
is
Catwoman.
Catwoman.
Terrific. Those I will get those published on LowcoSports.com as soon as
speaking
possible.
of- I'll give
that to
They
you,
will
Max.
also be
I'll
in
give
the
that to
Island
you.
News. They'll be in the Island
Here's
News
a
this week
better
as well.
here's a better segue. Speaking of Sand Sharks basketball, they have some big games tomorrow night. Real quick, they're playing at Columbus State tomorrow night, both men's and women's, I believe.
Yep.
Women's game, hopefully they can find a way to be competitive in that game. The men's game is the one to watch. That is
Oh,
two
yeah.
of the top teams in the Peach Bowl
Oh,
Conference going at it. A win for USCB would be huge at this point in the season,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
with what the upcoming season, what the rest of the season looks like. Thank you, Misa. Appreciate it. Just
Going
saying.
over.
Where's
Going
the
over.
blonde?
I'm smiling and laughing at JJ doing his.
Yeah.
He also has to do the outro. The outro needs like 20 seconds.
Yeah,
He's got to do the
we're not
sponsors.
gonna. Thank you for all the
Go,
sponsors.
JJ. Go, JJ.
Varsity.
Kevin
Go,
Libby.
JJ. Mickelson Law Firm, Rooted Wellness. Go. Go.
Kevin Libby, what do you think of when I sing dum bum bum? Oh yeah.
There's always go loco.
Okay,
Good
yes,
night.
but then also
always
there's
go
an episode
loco.
of
Good
Always
night.
Sunny. There's always an episode of Always Sunny.
Kool-Aid
I
Man.
thought that was
Carol! There is no
George
Carol!
Lopez.
There is no Carol!
I tried.
Not only do these people exist, but all they are talking about is their mail. All right, boys, that's going to do it for tonight. It's gone fully off the rails. The clock is ticking. We'll be back presumably tomorrow night, although we got to sort all that out because I might be on the road, but we'll figure it out. So thanks to everyone who joined us tonight in the comments or otherwise, or on the big screen of many people. We'll be back again another night for Javon Livingston from Beaufort's Own, Misa Garzone, Random Analyst, Marcus Walsh, WHHI TV, Kevin Libby, WHHI TV, Wes Kerr, Max Araj, and Justin Jarrett. We'll see you next time. Until next time, go Loco, one Loco. Peace out.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Loco.